After an awesome few days in Cairo, I was on my way to visit the most famous open-air museums in the world, Karnak and Luxor Temple. Flying over to reach southern Egypt, we flew right over the Sahara, which was really cool just imagining the deadly trips people made back then in history to go through this gigantic desert. I eventually got dropped off at the hotel, which was one of the best hotels I've ever been in my life. Music greetings at the door, beautiful views of the balcony, and delicious food with a view in front of the Nile. I felt truly like a king. This is how the pharaohs must have felt. Okay, on our way to the great Karnak Temple. We had a taxi driver drive us through the crazy streets of Luxor, which is the cheapest and fastest way to get around. The tickets were only about $10 to enter the temple, but if you have a student ID with you, that price will be cut in half, so make sure you have your student ID with you. The Temple of Karnak was believed to be the spot where creation began. It dates back from around 2055 BC to around 100 AD. And it took more than 1,000 years to build Karnak Temple. It is said that Karnak was a point of interaction between the god Amun-Ra and Egyptians. It is to this day considered as the largest temple complex ever constructed anywhere in the world. So yeah, Karnak Temple is kind of a big deal. Once you enter, you'll be introduced with a line of ram-headed sphinxes. They symbolize the god Amun, assigned to protect the temple. The ancient Egyptians called this road Wat Natir, meaning the path of God. As you go further in, you'll be met with the great Hippo-style hall. These massive columns really make you feel like an ant. Appreciate the amazing hieroglyphics and realize just how hard it must have been to build these giants. So right here, this is Hypostyle Hall. This is the largest religious room in the whole world. This houses about 134 columns and about a total of 54,000 square feet, give or take. These columns are made right here out of sandstone. But as you can see with some of these columns, all right here, they're like either faded out or washed away because in the past, all this was full of color. So as you can see on the top half, like it still has the color, but the bottom half just faded away. Because you know the annual Nile would come and it would flood every year. So that's why like the bottom half is like faded away because of the flooding. But the top half you can see still has some of the color still left. And honestly, that's just really amazing. The fact that whatever coating, whatever paint that they put on these columns were able to last this long. These columns are at least 2,400, 2,500 years old. And you know, the paint on your house washes away in like, I don't care if it's bare paint, that thing washes away in like a few decades. We're talking about over 2,000 years old and it's still very much in color, still amazing. This is what I mean as Egypt just used one of the best techniques, one of the best arts, and it's still around to this day. And it's just freaking amazing to see. If you ever get lost, there's a map at the entrance just so you know. Now, who remembers the iconic obelisks that we learned in 5th grade history class? This obelisk stands at 71 feet tall and weighs about 143 tons. So basically a giant stone pencil, kind of like the one in Washington, D.C. Just an amazing view, an amazing sight. I've read this too many times in Egyptian books in history class. The famous obelisk that Egypt always constructs, and it's just amazing to see in person. And then you have Karnak Temple's sacred lake, which is the largest of its kind, and the lake was used by the priests for ritual washing and ritual navigation. I eventually saw a group of people circling around this bug thing, which I assumed was for good fortune because the famous scarab beetle is big in Egypt, which is seen as a symbol of renewal and good fortune. So I just asked a tour guide, and I was right. This is for good fortune. They go around it, I don't know how many times, but they just keep going around it for like a few minutes, and it's for good fortune, good luck. So, got it right. Alright, the sun was going down, so I headed straight to the next famous temple in town, Luxor Temple. Now this is traveling in style. Luxor is a high-flying city with lots of attractions, amazing monuments, and endless carriage rides you can take along the Nile River. My horse was very good to me. Thanks for the ride, bro. Tickets range from $5 to $10, so again, fairly cheap, and if you bring your ID, there's a discount with it. Dating back to 1392 BC, Luxor Temple was the main venue for one of the most important ancient Egyptian religious celebrations. Now here's Sphinx Avenue. Remember the ram sphinxes in Karnak? Well, one of the most famous celebrations is called the Apet Festival, which was a procession parading the statues of the god Amun and Mut in a symbolic reenactment of their marriage. The avenue of human-headed sphinxes of over 1.5 miles once connected the temples of Karnak and Luxor. Just imagine thousands of people following these statues from one temple to another through a tunnel of statued sphinxes. It'll be almost kind of like our Thanksgiving parade. Instead of Snoopy and SpongeBob, there's the gods Amun and Mut. This is why Karnak and Luxor Temple are so significant in the eyes of the Egyptians and throughout their history. Going to Luxor Temple at night was really cool because everything was lit up and just made the hieroglyphics pop out even more. I didn't even know where I was going half the time. I would just wander around the temple wondering to myself, how the heck did these people build such magnificent columns, statues of pharaohs, and do it with such underdeveloped basic hand tools? The architectural genius of these people was really second to none. You really can capture the beauty of these temples on camera. You really just need to see it for yourself. Karnak and Luxor Temple really just reignited my fascination for Egyptian history and the culture these people had back then. It just goes to show you that you don't need modern technology to do great things. The human body and mind are the two biggest tools we have, and these people really showed us what we can do as a human race when we work hard together. Hope one day you can enjoy seeing it too. Not as much as I hope you like and subscribe to my channel though. But really, go there and don't miss it. If you have any questions, tips, recommendations, etc., leave a comment down below. It would be greatly appreciated for whoever is watching this video. Thanks again for watching. Wadan.